But this podcast probably is going to be about being open.
Or telling your parents how you truly feel about their parenting.
Or that one.
Let's do it.
That.
Well, it's not your parenting that I'm questioning. It was
That
just...
would be my parenting. Absolutely.
Yes, it's
Because if I was to go into a relationship and not consider the effects that it have on my kids, that would be bad parenting.
Well, I understand where you're coming from, but that's not how I was thinking about it. I was just simply like, okay, she has gone back to him in the past. Then with the whole you joking around with sending me and him there, that at first it wasn't getting to me. I was just like, whatever. She's on one today. I don't care. But after a while, it did start getting to me where I was just like, okay. Like, I know you wouldn't, but I was still like, okay, what if he does, like, what if y'all do co-parent? And I was like, okay.
What do you mean, what if we co-parent?
What do you mean? Like, as in, like how you was afraid that he might get custody and stuff, or get 50-50 or weekends and stuff like that. That's what I was thinking, not.
Well, he has weekends. We signed up for that. He has weekends.
Mm.
That means he gets you guys the first. Or
No,
I shouldn't say that, but he gets you guys half the time.
I don't understand.
Like half the day of the weekend?
You are so.
You said the first of.
We don't want to tell the exact information, but he according to what we agreed to, he has to reacclimate himself back into y'all life, right? That means he has like 13 visits where he has to reinsert himself properly into y'all life so that y'all can make an assessment of whether or not you want to continue a relationship with him. During that process, you guys also have the right to say, yes, I want to, or no, I don't. So whatever I decide, you're not understanding. You're emotional about it. You see what I'm saying? You're not even understanding that is what it is. So let's say he goes through with the 13 visits, right? Then he gets you guys like every other weekend. And that was the argument between he and I, because he's just like, I just want you to continue to bring them and we meet up and I see them. He don't even want y'all in his home. I probably shouldn't tell you that, but I feel like you're so confused about what's going on because I try to make everything in a gray area because you haven't asked these questions. You're just like, I don't want nothing to do with him. I don't want nothing to do with him. I don't want nothing to do with him. And I'm like, okay, well, she's made up her mind.
Well, I mean, I did ask about seeing him and stuff like that. And you said that we would have to go this day and then... You said we have to go this day, and then we have to go, probably have to go this day, but if we say no, then we don't have to go. And then you left it at that.
Well, that's because you've already gone to see him, right? He has not. He hasn't seen him at all in over 5 years at all. So I have to give him the opportunity to be able to see him. Now, the next visit that we talked about, you went to the first one. He didn't go to the first one because, we have to make sure we do it in the right manner with him. But for you, you were like, I just want to do this and get it over with. And you said what you said to him. And it's like, well, she's already kind of said what she said. You don't have to go to the next meeting at all. You just said that you were coming. He has to go, but he never showed up for the next meeting.
Right.
Well, I'm not understanding. You have to ask. Your eyes can't talk
I
for
didn't
you.
understand. You never fully explained about the whole. He gets to see us, or he gets the visits all those other times, or the other.
I did explain that to you. I said, if you choose to, they're going to set it up to where you guys are going to see him every other weekend. And those visits are supervised until he reinserts himself back into your life. It's called reacclimate you back into his life because he's been absent out of your life for over 5 years. Right?
That would be if we said.
Yes.
Okay.
But nobody anticipated you just jumping out the gate and saying no. You just came in like, okay, an hour into this visit, I'm out. Not even an hour. I think it was like 15 minutes into the visit. You was just like, no. I mean, and it theoretically, those visits haven't even started because it hasn't even went to the judge just yet. We're just now signing this. You went and seen him back in April. So at the gate, you was like, no. So your visits are not even have to go through with it. He hasn't even seen him because he didn't show up the next one, but he could theoretically say, oh, well, we didn't start. I thought this didn't start until this date, but that's why I got the parenting app to say, this is documented. We both were in agreement. He accepted the app. We communicated. He communicated. He asked this. I responded here. So I have a track record versus me just saying, oh, well, this happened. And he'd be like, no, that never happened. It's tracked on the paperwork. And I can go back to the date of photos and stuff like that to show that we were at this location.
I wasn't understanding what you said.
That's because
I
you
heard what you said, but I don't think I
processed.
yeah.
It's just because you just been like, no. You just been like, no. And that's what I be telling y'all. When y'all judge me on situations, y'all only judge me one-sided. You don't look at the totality of the situation. You were just like, you went into the situation with blockers. And that's what happens when your mind hasn't matured to its full capacity because you're not able to see the situation 360. You're only seeing it 180 or 1%. Not even 180. It's like a 90-degree angle. You just like, okay, yeah, not. You see what I'm saying? You just seeing it from your point of view, how you're feeling about it, but you're not assessing like, this is a court. We have to follow court orders. Okay, you've done your part. You said, nah, I don't want this. And that's why I made sure that, hey, let's write it up this way because I'm not going to force my kids to do something they don't want to do. I already knew how you felt. But I'm like, just in case, give him rights so that we have it written so he won't be able to just come here any random day and be like, okay, today's Tuesday. I want to visit them. No, you have it in writing. You understand? All right.
I get where you're coming from with that. And no, I didn't fully process it because I was just like, no, I didn't want to see him and stuff like that. But I do understand it now. That we have to. It's kind of like what you've been explaining for the past couple of days or whatever. That you have to do certain things for him to be mentally ill.
That you gotta think about the mental capacity of the other person. You also have to abide by laws. Like as a parent, he has rights. that he can invoke. So just to not trigger people, you gotta honestly, sometimes it's not what you want to do, but it's what has to be done in order to be fair to all parties involved. And I know you want me to just be like, no, this and that, they my kids. And I'm like, you can't go in there with guns blazing. You just can't. You gotta be fair to all parties, no matter how much it. Am I upset? Yeah, I'm upset because why do I have to share my kids with you and you refuse to even support them? You're not financially supporting them. You're not emotionally supporting them. Like you're providing no support whatsoever. You just want to be able to put your eyes on them, and I gotta even pay for the gas and to bring them to you. If they have snacks or drinks during that time, I gotta pay for that. The clothes, I gotta pay for that. Like I'm paying for everything, and you not even providing anything at all. Most guys like, why would you looking at me like, well, why would you do that? Because I don't want to be like one of these women that you see on the news where dude done went berserk. Like, nah, I don't want to be in that situation. And you can't say, oh well, this person won't. You don't know what people will ever do. So to keep myself from being in that type of situation, I just move like I need to move. Even if at the end of the day, it puts me in a place where I feel like I should not be in, I still have to do what I have to do.
I understand. And I understand that because you've been saying that for the past couple of days. So at first, no, I wasn't fully. I had a little bit of an understanding, but I wasn't fully understanding everything. But now I understand that you have to do certain things, even if you don't want to do it. You still have to do it in order for things to run.
Well, I mean, smoothly. If you had it your way, what do you? How do you see it in your eyes?
What do you mean?
I don't know. I'm trying to ask you without leading you, because I want you to answer organically. But like,
honestly,
if you could have it your way, what would you expect for it to be?
Like, if I was you or if I was me?
If how you would see me respond in this situation to make you feel better. How would you want me to respond?
The way you're currently responding? Because I've already
No, how you were looking at it before. Don't try to answer politically correct.
No.
How you were seeing it, like how you expect for me to handle the situation. How would you prefer that I handle the situation? You can be honest.
How I would prefer for you to handle the situation is like how you did, but
go ahead.
But I do understand like how I would prefer for you to handle the situation is how you did. So I appreciate that, but I also understand the fact that you
because it. Right. I already know by the tone of your voice you prefer to say something else. Just okay, go ahead.
I prefer you to react the way you did. You didn't go off. You didn't do what I expected you to do. What I expected you to do was go off or even take him back and stuff like that. But when you didn't, it was like, oh, this is different. So I didn't understand. And I was just trying to come to an understanding of what was really going on through the entire situation. But I was also like, okay, also trying to just live in the moment. Or I was trying to live, but also process what you were doing in the situation, but I didn't fully understand it.
That's not what I'm asking. What I'm asking you is, if you could have it your way, how did you see it happening?
I saw you go back to him. Wait, what?
Well, that's what I'm like. Wait, what?
It's like about earlier. The question is, how would you see, like, your preferred, like, how would you be in that situation? Would you want her to react X, Y, and Z, or do you want her to react the same way she is now? But the question is, how would you, in your mind, at the time where you were still thinking about her going back to him, how would you perceive in your mind? Oh,
No.
Part
I'm
of me
saying
wanted to you. I understand that. Part of me wanted you to do that, but other part.
no, you gotta be clear because we're recording.
Clear on that one.
yeah, deep.
No,
Part of me wanted
you
me-
should
part
because
of me wanted
most
to-
kids will probably feel the way that you. That's why I'm saying don't hold back because there's probably someone out there that feels the same way that you feel, but they can't voice their opinion.
Part of me wanted you to just go off and yell at him, but the rest of me just was like, just leave the situation. Like, don't argue.
Ghost.
Don't. Yeah. But also, it was like, I understood at the time you couldn't just like really just ghost him because he's him. So I knew he was gonna keep coming back, and I also was.
I could ghost,
I'm on go. I can go.
but and it's not just how he would I mean, it's kind of how he would respond, but how would that look if I went to court?
I understand.
Well, she won't let me see the kids because you know that's the. Well, you probably don't know, but more than likely that's gonna be
It's gonna pull.
yeah. That's the card they usually pull. Like even with everything that I've done, he's still responding that way.
Even then I understood there were certain ways you had to do things in order for it to work out, but I wasn't fully understanding it because I was just still like, part of me was like, is she gonna go back to him? Another part of me was like, is she gonna go off and do something she ain't got no business? Another part was like, is she gonna like completely break down or like, I wasn't 100% sure what you were gonna do, but seeing how you were
Poised.
yeah, it was like this is
Scary.
different. Yeah, I wasn't used to it.
That's how I really am deep down inside. You guys have just seen a different side of me. And we'll just go like being in the relationship. Like a lot of times, and you can attest to this, a lot of times when the arguments would happen, I just be in the background like, oh my God,
Yeah.
I don't want to argue with you. But then what y'all see is me arguing and bantering back and forth. But remember when we first moved here and I didn't say anything at all. And it was just like, you're arguing with me. And I'm like, I didn't even say nothing.
Yeah, I remember that.
So it's like, no matter which way I would respond, no response is still going to be a response. A response is still going to be a response. So I just chose to agree. Oh, you don't want to pay child support? Fine. You don't have to pay child support. Cool.
No,
And then he was still like, well, can I see the kids? Yeah, you can see the kids.
I understand what you're saying because what I was trying to say earlier is in these past couple years, I've understood that I know who you are and I know who you have to be in order to live in this world, and I also know
You're just not used to seeing me so calm.
I also am used to seeing you calm because whenever he was here, you were very quiet and calm, and it was just like
But you also see me,
argue.
Yeah.
It was.
but I only argue with people when I care. I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
But I understand where you're coming from. You're like, Mom, I'm scared. Are you going back to him because you're too calm? Like, if that's your ex, what you want, what you want is like, if that's your ex, you should be yelling and screaming and fighting with him. No, people that yell and scream and fight still want to be with that person. That's why they yelling and screaming. Because if you don't give it energy. I was so calm even when y'all had y'all meeting and he was blaming me for everything. I was still calm because it's like, whatever. I didn't expect anything less from you. Because his feelings obviously are still attached to the situation. That's when it became a reality for me. Because the whole time you were like, he still cares. I'm like, how you know what this man do? This man done moved on. I'm just thinking Delulu of how I feel, because I'm like, I done moved on. I don't care. It's like, do whatever you do. But obviously, when you still care, you're going to sit here and still try to banter back and forth. I'm not bantering back and forth with nobody because, for what? We're where we're going to be, and this ain't finna go no other way, so what we going to argue for?
I understand.
But you're saying you want my response to be, I'm angry. Nah, I'm angry because you're talking to me. Yeah, that makes me angry. Why are you even talking to me? Oh, we got kids. I can't be angry because the kid wants to see you. Okay, well, since the kid want to see you, I love the kid enough to compose myself so that this visit can happen without me adding my emotions and my interference to it. I know how to emotionally respond to situations in an intellectual way that's just like, right now, you don't need to respond to this way because it's not a good place. It's not a good time. She needs to deal with her emotions. So I shut down however I may feel. Did I like being in the same space as him? Absolutely not. But I understand that you needed to get something off of your chest. And I love you enough to set my feelings to the side. You understand what I'm saying? And that is why when you choose friends or you're around people, like when this all happened, you stopped hanging out with you know who because you was like, whoa, I'm seeing my mom do a certain thing. That is why so many children or so many of us as kids are messed up because we see how our parents respond to things. But when you see me respond to things in a different light and you see me have respect for myself and be like, I ain't accepting no respect, you started to have respect. So how am I going to keep that type of dynamic continuing if I'm responding to him out of anger? I can't go in the same way that I left. It's like, no, we're not going to argue. He expected an argument. He was pushing as much as he could to get an argument. And I'm just like, sir, you're not going to get that because she's here to get something off her chest. Let her get what's off her chest. Or let her make her decision. Because honestly, I thought when you got there and you actually saw him, you was going to be like, oh, I don't feel the way that I feel. That's my dad. I love my dad. But when you was just like, yeah, no, I was like, oh, okay, well, she's standing on business. She obviously meant what she said. I move according to whatever my kids move with.
I understand where you're coming from, but I also, well, my mental process through it was, I was just thinking about all the times why I thought you were, or I expected you to just go off on him was because all the times when you would just be like, oh, I want to do this, or oh, I don't like him, or
I still don't.
Yeah, I understand, but in the moment, that's how I thought. So when you seen him, or when he would come around, or he would you would be like, when I thought you would be around him, that's when I was like,
you thought that's what it was gonna be.
Yeah, but then when you didn't do it, I was like, oh, like, because part of me was like, okay, she's gonna go off on him. Then the other part of me was like, she's not gonna go off on him. She knows what she's doing. Like,
you were hoping.
No, I knew you knew what you were doing, but I also had it. Hearing you yell and be like,
I can't stand him. I hate him.
It was like kind of like angel and devil. It was like da 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 in my ear. So I was like, oh my god, is she gonna go off on him? But I also knew that you weren't gonna do that. And when we got to the park, or when you was in the court and you didn't go off on him and stuff like that, I was like, I knew it, but it was still like a little bug, like being like, she's gonna yell, she's gonna do this, but when you didn't do it, I was like, I understand.
I think you're mistaking me being transparent with you for what is going to happen in the real world. The transparency that I have with you behind closed doors is me being authentic with you. I know when I go into the real world, I can't be transparent. That's why most people, what is it called? Emotionally intelligent? Yeah.
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 That's just the reason why you're seeing this Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde situation is because I'm emotionally intelligent enough to understand that you can't be doing that. You can't act that way. Do I feel that way? Yeah, absolutely. I might feel that, but I'm not going to act, or yeah, I'm not going to let my, what you said, intrusive thoughts take over the situation. I when they come up, like you said, the angel and the devil on your shoulder, like at that moment when he was blaming me, was I in my head like, really? But it was just like when it's game time, when we in the game, it ain't practice. What you get to see is practice. But when we in the game, we ain't practicing no more. This is we here to take home the Super Bowl. You see what I'm saying? Like, we in the game.
I understand, because like when we kept practicing and talking about it, and it was like, and you kept asking me like, how am I gonna respond to it and stuff like that. And at first I was like, oh, I'm gonna be like this, I'm gonna be like this, and then towards like I guess last year I was like, I was more like, I don't know how I'm gonna respond, honestly. Like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I don't know if I'm gonna yell, I'm gonna be quiet, or I'm gonna walk away. I don't know what I'm gonna do.
Mm-hmm.
And then I started being more real with myself, and that's when I started talking to myself. I was like, okay, what can you say? Because I started picking up on the way you were doing things, and how I was picking up on the fact that you give them enough rope to, or you build them up, and then you
cut it off.
So that's when I was like, okay, what can you say to ease him, but also get your point across? And then that's when I said what I said at the park, and I was like, da 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 da. So I understand what you're saying, and I'm still processing it.
Yeah.
But it's a
lot.
Yeah.
I totally understand. That's why I talk to you all the time. I know it's a lot, but you are always with your emotions, you always acting like you in the game. You forget that we also need practice. So during practice session, you can show your vulnerability. You can show that I'm vulnerable. I'm feeling this way and this and that, but you just be like, no, I'm good. No, this is practice. So we have to push ourselves in our weak areas in order to strengthen us. So when you hear me say, I'm mad and I'm frustrated and I'm upset, I'm letting my weak points show so that when I'm in the game, they don't show up then, which is what he did the other day, where he was like, oh, well, this. It's like, we're in the game. It's game time. We don't need that in game time. You need to get that in check over in practice. See what I'm saying?
Yeah. I completely get it, because I know sometimes with like Kimura, or even with you, I'll be like today with Kimura, I was like, I said something, and Kimura was like, me and Kimura were both like, you ain't know better than mommy. You need to stop talking to her and telling her that she be acting this certain type of way, because you ain't know better than her. And I was like, well, we was both saying that to each other, and I was like, yeah.
Wait, what y'all talking about?
I don't even know what. I don't remember what I said something.
I think I interrupted y'all while y'all were talking.
No, you weren't there.
Oh.
It was, you know how you were saying about the girl today at McDonald's? I basically said something along those lines, but it was just intrusive thoughts, and I was just like, because I've been saying this.
You're being honest.
Yeah, and I've been being honest like this for like a while now, and even with you, I'll be like, I can't really judge you, because I would probably do the same thing in the situation, so I can't really say like, oh, I'll act this way, or, oh, I'll do this.
Oh, what she do?
In the day, in the night.